Hi, the second one of these is always late in the year, but I'm doing it now. Let's talk about upcoming book to film adaptations in the second half of 2018. As usual, I pick the books and films that I am most interested in. There's always a ton coming out, but either I've picked ones that loads of people are talking about or books that I already have and really want to read and that I'm curious about. I also did one for the first half of the year, so if you want to catch up with that, link to that will be in the description. I'm doing these in chronological order, and number one is one that is already out, but it hasn't been out for that long yet, and it is Mary Shelley. So technically not based on a book, but it talks about one book in particular, Frankenstein, and about its author. I actually love Frankenstein. If it's a classic that you haven't read yet, I would highly recommend it. I think it's really accessible, it's short, definitely not what you expect it to be either. I actually haven't seen this film yet. It stars Elle Fanning and Maisie Williams. There's not too much to say about this one in particular, but I just wanted to let you know that it is out in case you hadn't heard about it yet. The first book to film adaptation I wanted to mention is one that I've actually already seen the film of, but haven't read the book, and I don't own the book. I actually don't own any of the books by this author. So the film and the book are called The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. I have seen and read Fingersmith, which I loved, but that's kind of the only Sarah Waters I've read. And after talking to other people, that seems like a shame because people really love her books. The film features Ruth Wilson, and then she was also in my favorite Jane Eyre adaptation, the BBC miniseries. So love seeing her in this film, and it also has Domhnall Gleeson in it. It's the story of a doctor who goes to this mansion, meets the family that lives there. It's definitely not in its full glory anymore. He used to go to that beautiful house when he was a little kid, and he remembers it really well, and you kind of get to see the story of what is happening in this house. There seems to be something mysterious. Is it haunted? Is there something else going on? If you love a mix of a period piece with maybe something supernatural, definitely a lot of tension, and this is one to check out. I'd be really interested in reading the book of this as well. It's out in August in the US and September in the UK. The next is going to be a big pile of YA stuff. First up, we have The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. I think it has just come out, so early August. It is a dystopian YA story. A disease has killed most of America's children, but some of them have survived and they now have these special abilities. I'm really interested in this film, but I'd love to hear what you think of the book if you've read it. Doesn't come as a surprise really. You all know that I love some dystopian YA. The next one, I don't have the book. It's To All the Boys I've Loved Before. The main character, I'm pretty sure, writes letters to these boys she has crushes on, and then the letters end up in the wrong hands. It seems like it's like a really fun, like maybe romantic and funny comedy. To be honest, it's probably not the genre of book that I would pick up myself, but I am very interested in seeing the film. The next one I'm very invested in. I am super close to finishing this book, and it is The Miseducation of Cameron Post. The book has been out in the US for years and years. It has just come out in the UK. The film features Chloe Grace Moretz, and I've seen the trailer. It's coming out early September, I think, now in the UK. The US release date is a mess because it went to film festivals and I don't know what's happening with it now. I was trying to look it up on IMDb and it's very confusing. This is the story of Cameron, whose parents pass away. She never got to tell them that she's attracted to girls. Then she has to live with her aunt, and when her aunt discovers this about her, she sends her to a gay conversion therapy camp. Cameron's personality is quite dry humor, very resistant to a lot of things. I think the atmosphere of the book and the way it describes the setting, which is Montana, I think is really good. There's different kinds of YA, and this feels like a very particular type, and I think it feels like kind of a lot of the early YA. I don't really know how to explain it. There's so much in this book, and I think for the film they're focusing more on the second half of the book, which is when she gets to the camp. The book is quite slow, but it has a lot of heart, it has a lot of interesting characters, so I would definitely recommend reading this one. And I'll be at the cinema to watch the film. Like with Cameron Post, that I think most people know about already, the next one is going to be on people's radar, but obviously I have to mention it. It is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This is my old, is it a proof copy? No, I think it's a finished copy. This book is fantastic. It's been doing so well. Angie is incredible. Whenever I've had the chance to go see her at an event, she's just absolutely fantastic. She's so engaging, she's really funny, and obviously has to talk a lot about the sort of difficult topic of the book, which is police violence. And I think she just like deals with it so well. She gets so many different kinds of questions, and a lot of people obviously come to her with all these big questions, sort of wanting her to, I don't know, solve it or come up with these amazing answers, and yeah, I think she does it incredibly well. This is the story of Star, who is in the car with one of her friends when he gets shot by a police officer, and then it's about her trying to figure out where she belongs. She goes to this predominantly white kind of rich school in a different neighborhood. She's trying to figure out what her identity is, what her role is in what's happened as well, if she should speak out. It's a really touching story against the backdrop of a lot of events that are happening today. So the film of this, I think, is going to make a massive impact, as the book has already. So if you haven't read this yet, please do. And the film is out in October. Okay, 2 left. This is The Mortal Engines by Phillip Reeve, recommended to me by a friend. And as it says on here, soon to be a major motion picture. This is coming out in December. It's about cities on wheels that fight each other. It looks really interesting from the trailer. I'm not entirely sure about it yet. I'm gonna read the book. I'm gonna give the trailer another look. I'll put all the trailers in the description as well. It definitely has all the elements of something that I would really love. And then finally, at the end, I always like to throw in one that they say is gonna be made this year, but they're not quite sure. So this one is Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House, which is going to be a Netflix series. I've only read one other book by Shirley Jackson and it was amazing. It was creepy. So The Haunting of Hill House is next. I love a dark TV show, so I can only think that this is right up my street. Check who's in it actually. Looked at the list. No one that I personally have seen anything by before. Is there a trailer? Let's have a look. No trailer yet. So I think that one is going to be a surprise. Alright, so those are some of the book to film adaptations that I'm really excited about this year. The books that I will endeavor to read before I see the film, wherever I can. Links to all of them will be in the description. If there's any big ones that I've missed that you're looking forward to, do leave them in a comment below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Doei!